here we are, Powerhouse Smart friends and colleagues, another episode of our Powerhouse Cool Collabs podcast. And today, I once again am graced with such beautiful, lovely people in my life that are also Powerhouse Cool Collab leaders. That means they believe in collaboration. They live with an attitude of gratitude and they believe in giving back and helping humanity. So today's guest is a colleague of mine for many years, and we've just built a relationship and we weave in and out all of those pillars under the Powerhouse Cool Collabs. So happy to have her here. And as you know, this is a commutable 20 minutes, so I want my guest to have as much airtime as possible. So I'm going to turn over the microphone and invite my dear friend Nancy Jacobson to share your story. Hi, Nancy.
Hi, Wendy. Thanks so much for having me. So,
Well,
I have been a member of Powerhouse now, I think, for about 10 or 12 years. Powerhouse has been a wonderful, wonderful organization for me. I started my company 20 years ago, but the way I got into kitchen and bath design was kind of a long and winding road. The, sh- the, the long and short story is when I went to college, I was intending to major in interior design. And what happened was one requirement was chemistry. I didn't get chemistry. I was having a lot of fun my first semester in college. I didn't know at the time you could take classes at a junior college where it would be easier. So let's just say I didn't do well and I changed my major to business. And that was the end of interior design for me for a long time. And then when I graduated college, I worked in corporate America, and I worked for AT&T and the Bell system, which was actually an amazing place to work at the time because you might remember that the Justice Department made the Bell system split up. And so I worked there during divestiture. I worked there during a huge tumult, and I survived a lot of change and trying to change the culture of an organization. Every year there were layoffs, and it was quite a bit. But I also learned the value of long term relationships. So, as much as I always wanted to get back to interior design, and I would meet interior designers and say, "Can you go to coffee?" And, I would network with them, even though communications wasn't necessarily my passion, I really did learn a lot there. And like I say, developing long term relationships was what I learned from there. So,
yes.
fast forward years later, and I am remodeling my house and doing a major addition. And I truly fell in love with, I just, the blueprints, somehow the way it worked with my brain, I could just visualize things. I can't even explain it. Just, I fell in love with it. And so I went to work in the industry. I went to work for someone who was a kitchen and bath dealer in Highland Park. And he had been in the industry for a long time. And so he taught me all the technical aspects of kitchen and bath design. So,
Yes,
really, in a way, I'm self taught. I have not gone to a formal program for kitchen and bath design.
that's
Fast
crazy.
forward a few years, and I had developed some great accounts with custom home builders. And the person I worked for, there were just some issues between him and his vendors. And so one of the builders came to me and said, "Nancy, we love working with you, but we don't love who you work for. And if you want to go out on your own, we'll follow you. But if not, we're leaving."
Yeah.
And so I made the decision to go out on my own. And that's how I founded Kitchen Design Partners. And the name of Kitchen Design Partners is essentially our core principle, and that is that we collaborate on every project that we do. The homeowner is in the center, and the homeowner is surrounded by different design build professionals who are supporting them through the process. Every project we collaborate, which is um, partially why Powerhouse is so powerful to Kitchen Design Partners and to me. And so whether We are being brought into a project by a homeowner who selects us to do the kitchen and bath design, the cabinetry, the countertops. Those are really our core specialties. Or if it's an architect who brings us in or an interior designer who brings us in, we love the collaboration process. And part of the collaboration process is knowing how to communicate, knowing how to work as a team, and never finger pointing. So that is among the core principles of Kitchen Design Partners.
Wow. So you said so much, and I was already like jumping in my mind of all the things I want to backtrack. So let me backtrack on a couple things. First of all, for those of you who've been watching our podcast, I really haven't explained that PowerHouse SMART is our education membership community. So many of you probably know that already. That's how you might have found this. I also do recruiting in our industry. So Nancy and I first met through mutual friends that were not even in the industry who said, wait, Wendy, you've got this community, and our really, really dear friend Nancy just started her own business, and you might really benefit from meeting each other. Well, Nancy and I met, we fell in love, and since then she has been a big part of my life. One of the things that you said, Nancy, which kind of shocks me, is that you weren't formally trained in kitchen and bath design, but it was more of a hands-on, and because you are, in my mind, the kitchen guru. Like, you understand all the technical details. And I always tell everyone, if you're going to design a kitchen and you care about knowing where things are going to be well before you even start the new kitchen building process, Nancy is a miracle worker. I mean, she has it all laid out for you. And not only that, it's not just the technical, it's magnificently gorgeous and it's livable. Like, you can live in your kitchens, because I've personally been in her showroom while she's talking with clients, and I've heard her say, tell me how you entertain. How many people come over? How often is that? And she's really putting herself in your shoes. So I've referred a gazillion people to you. I love you. You are really so unique in that. I mean, there's a wonderful world of kitchen and bath design out there, but you've just got this special talent. And what I
Thank
also
you.
love, yeah, no, it's great. And what it just turned out, you said, oh, my company is Kitchen Design Partners when I first met you, because I believe in collaboration. I'm like, wow, this is like we speak the same language.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and coming from, I think this is a lesson for everyone in our audience, because a lot of people who listen to this may just be newer in their career, and you've built a company for 20 years now. And we're going to talk more about that. I have some questions for you on how you did that, because you obviously built a very successful company. You're celebrating your big anniversary coming up in October,
Thank
but
you.
you followed your passion. And I think that's amazing, that you left a successful corporate career, and you fell in love with something while you were doing your own, and you took a leap of faith, learned something brand new. How old were you when you left the Bell Corporation or AT&T or whatever it was at that time?
Yeah. I was probably about 40.
Wow, that's a big jump.
Yes.
So what was that in your mind? Like, okay, I'm leaving my career and I'm going to learn something I've never learned before, technical design of kitchen and bath. So what were you a little nervous? Tell me how did that work for you?
Well, like I said, I found a person who had been in the industry for a long time.
Right.
And so I felt like he would really teach me all the technical aspects.
Yeah.
But honestly, what I found over time was that he didn't have the attention to detail that I needed just for the way my brain processes.
Yes.
So it was really custom cabinet maker who I worked with for many years, where I learned so much of the technical.
Yeah.
And there's a ton of technical detail. And it's interesting now because I look back over the past, 24 or 25 years, and I have two women who work with me who are newer to the industry. And we talked about, you mentioned mentoring. So there are so many little details that we just discuss
Yeah.
when we're working on a project that it's very difficult to teach in advance because
Yeah.
it's very difficult to visualize these things because it's three-dimensional, it's not two-dimensional. And so it really did take me time. And you learn by mistakes in this industry too. My skills have changed over the years. I can do much more complicated projects now than 20 years when I was starting out. And really, when I was starting out, a lot of my business came from a custom home builder that was building custom homes at a price point. So it was almost like semi-custom custom homes.
Hmm.
And so the kitchen design was generally a large kitchen with an island,
Hmm.
because it was new construction, so they had the room for it. But it wasn't super high end custom like some of the projects we do now. So I think that also enabled me to hone my skills while I was already working in the industry.
Right, because you got to do more projects and a variety of different things at different levels. And that's what I love about Kitchen Design Partners. And just so you know, everyone, you're going to have all the links below of how to reach Nancy. She's got a beautiful, and I love that it's very easy to get to, lots of parking. It's in Northbrook, it's in a strip center, but it isn't, she didn't build that showroom and hasn't been there for this many years because it's for walk-ins. It's more, this is a very boutiquey world, and you're building, you're designing, and then someone that you partner with is building these amazing spaces. And it's not just kitchens, it's all kinds of cabinetry. So I love that you are really accessible to people, and you make this showroom as an opportunity. It's really gives people a taste. So I want to go back to, yes, mentoring. We talked about the three pillars, and so cool collaboration. So would you say that the majority of Kitchen Design Partners success was built on collaboration, and who do you collaborate with?
Yes, absolutely. When you think about it, about 50% of the business we work on is business through relationships that we have developed, where, let's just say, an architect comes to me and says, I have a project that I think I think it's right for you. I'm going to introduce you to these people. And it's always homeowners' choice if they're going to work with us. But that's an example of a lot of the collaboration we do.
Got it.
An interior designer will come to me and say, "Can I have a quick meeting with you?" She'll bring in some information. She'll discuss the client with me, and we'll start collaborating right then and there. And then it's up to the client whether they want to hire my firm or not. So that's about 50% of our work.
Yes.
And so, there are builders and interior designers and architects who we work with and have worked with over the years. And obviously, we love working together, and it's gone very well. The other side of our business is homeowners who either find us by referral or they find us on the internet. Um, we have very good reviews. And so I really think a lot of times people are influenced by reading a lot of five-star reviews and they just call. The thing about Kitchen Design Partners is we are not a cookie cutter kitchen design showroom. There are a lot of them out there, and we're just not like that. We are really super detailed. Like you mentioned, we really get to know our homeowners, and regardless of their investment level, we want to design a kitchen that is as perfect for them as it can be. And so I think homeowners find us who are kind of looking for very personal attention. You
Yes.
mentioned our showroom. Our showroom is open by appointment because if it takes 2.5 hours to meet with a client to go through every detail, we're going to give it 2.5 hours. And it doesn't, it really doesn't help us to have walk-ins. Everyone makes an appointment in advance. So that's really, I would say,
Okay.
the
Yeah,
best
totally.
description of the client.
And when you do a good job and you believe in team versus, sometimes there's the hero effect where you have architect, builder, designer, kitchen, bath designer, and someone wants to be the hero. When you build these relationships, these collaborations that last project after project after project. It's like the synchronicity, and then you let
Yeah.
everybody shine, and that's why these architects, interior designers, and builders can continue to come back to you, because you take a very important part of someone's home, their kitchen and their bathrooms and all the cabinetry, and you
Yeah.
make that part of their home so special and so personalized. So yeah, 2.5 hours. I don't doubt it. And you know what? That's 2.5 hours of somebody caring about and listening to the
Yes.
client. So you're truly super special, Nancy. I love what you add. Obviously, you can't take. You have to probably refer some of your business, because you just can't take everyone. I mean, you continue to grow. You've been adding people. So thank you for living that collaborative, open-minded relationship. And I'm so glad you fell into finding your passion, because you're sharing it with everyone. So that's amazing. So
Yes. Thank you.
yeah,
Yeah. I think a lot of people who are younger, certainly I was in this situation, don't know that there's a career in kitchen and bath design.
right,
And so, for instance, both of the women who work with me now, who are sales designers, all of us had the same experience where we had another career and then we found out about kitchen and bath design a lot of times by doing our own project
right.
and then moving into it. So,
So
yeah, that's common.
that's great. That's amazing. Yes. So if you're one of those people, or you know someone who's kind of at a crossroads, and they love their kitchen and they love going to see real estate, and they'd never realized this could be a career option. And I love how you've mentored your team over the years, and you've had other team members that have
Yeah.
moved on and done other things bigger and better in that same field.
Yes.
So the second pillar under the PowerHouse Cool Collabs is living with an attitude of gratitude. And of course, you and I know each other well, but so share with me, how do you feel about, waking up every morning? What's that like for Nancy in her life? Tell me.
Um, First of all, I tend to obsess a little bit about projects while I'm working on them.
Yes.
So, I mean, I just every morning I get up, I'm excited for the day. I have my coffee and I get on email. Usually by 6:30 in the morning, I'm checking email and I'm one of those people that just I think about a kitchen I'm designing just through my day. I
Yes.
just don't I can't explain it other than I obsess about it a little bit because it's like a puzzle to me and I love figuring it out.
Yes.
So I think people who have a creative mind, but also a little analytical, that's what kitchen and bath design is really mirroring those two sides.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, so
yeah,
you're celebrating, talking about tying in living your dream, right? Because that's what you're doing. You're doing what you love, and that gratitude just flows through you. So, what are you doing to celebrate this big milestone?
so we are right now in the midst of a social media campaign. We're
Okay.
doing 20 days for our countdown of memories
Oh,
from over the years. So that's kind of fun. And then we are going to have a celebration on October 17th. And on that afternoon, it'll be from I think 2:30 to 5:30, I believe. I should know that. And part of what we're doing is we're inviting partners, such as industry partners who we love working with, as we've been discussing, um, previous clients, current clients, friends, and also some additional entrepreneurs. So I've had the good fortune of working with some entrepreneurs in the area, and we're inviting them and letting them showcase what they do as well. Um, One of the things that I just feel is so really important and has been from the start is um, when you collaborate, you had mentioned it, but when you collaborate, everyone brings their expertise, just their way of looking at a situation.
mhm,
And so one of the things we're doing at our celebration is we're having an expert panel,
mhm.
industry people who have been in the industry over 20 years, and we're going to have a conversation about what things were like 20 years ago, how things have changed, um, what are the challenges, what are maybe some of the exciting things, and then we're going to take a look forward. And so I'm really excited that we have an interior designer, we have a builder, we have a cabinet person, and we have an appliance person, all
Wow.
people who we have worked with at Kitchen Design Partners. And I'm really excited to showcase their expertise and also to offer people an educational opportunity.
Yeah, no, that's going to be so fun. Like 20 years ago, there was the planning desk and, like so fun. So I would can't wait to see the social media of this is the kitchen 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago.
Right?
Yeah, it's going to be great. That's great. And you're so generous and just so grateful so that you're having a party and you're inviting everybody who works with you and all your past and current clients. And, to be honest with you, there's a lot of people who do projects who probably don't talk with or keep a relationship with somebody who worked on a project for them, but not anybody in our world, right, Nancy? Our builders, architects,
Absolutely.
of course,
Yeah,
they sing your praises, which was why 40% of your business is referral because people, invite other people into their kitchen and that's the end. You've
right.
got a new client. That's fabulous. And
And I'll tell you something else that's really kind of fun. We're located in Northbrook. We've done a ton of projects in Northbrook and the whole North Shore, quite frankly, and the north side of Chicago. But just this morning, I was at physical therapy and I ran into someone who I thought I knew. I had seen her the other day, and I thought to myself, huh, I wonder if she was a physical therapist I went to in the past. And this morning I saw her and I realized she was an old client, a previous client. And I had literally just the other day, I was looking through some old projects or older projects because of this social media campaign, and I saw her name. And
uh,
then when I ran into her this morning, the light bulb went off that this was a previous client. And this has happened to me a lot at the grocery store, at the library, wherever I run into clients. And I honestly, I can remember their kitchen. I mean,
yeah,
it's like crazy, but I do. So,
no
so
surprise.
it is very much a neighborhood kind of feel.
Yeah, well, and then it's a hug, and they're just like,
Yeah.
and then you remember how was your kindergartner, and now they
Yes.
got married.
Who are now in high school and college and married. Yes,
That's right.
absolutely. And
I
of
love.
course, we keep in touch on Facebook with a lot of people, but it's fun to run into people in person.
Absolutely, that's fabulous, and I'm sure
Yeah.
you invited her to the party on the
Yes.
the October anniversary party. That's fantastic. So,
Yes.
this has been so fun, Nancy. Honestly, you fall right under the pillars. You're a perfect person to mentor and guide anybody who's interested in the kitchen and bath industry, anybody who is working on a project. It's so interesting because architects sometimes do kitchen and bath. So
Right.
does interior designers, but those are a lot of your clients too. And they say, you know what? My ego isn't that big. If I can bring my client to somebody who does the kitchen and bath just a little bit better than I do, I'm happy to bring them into my project. So what a tribute to that person who's willing to put their ego aside for the benefit of a win
Yeah.
for everyone. So that's awesome. So I always like to end my podcast, always go too fast with a question for my guests. And my question for you, Nancy, is how would you define a well-lived life?
I think a well lived life is a value based life. And when I started Kitchen Design Partners and still do, we have some core values. So to me, having a great personal life is obviously very fulfilling, and I'm very grateful that I do have a wonderful family and a wonderful husband, and um, that's a really important part of my life.
Sure.
Um, and then professionally, what I value so much is being able to do work and have a sense of accomplishment. I think it's really important for people, whatever we're doing, is to have a sense of accomplishment. And I want to say that something that I think is really special about Kitchen Design Partners is that I want people to work here that they love working here and they're dedicated, but also family comes first. I
Mhm.
just really believe that the corporate world has had some missteps on this, that they're just not flexible enough to really allow families to flourish and also for their employees to flourish. So that's been really important to me. One example is that our marketing person who helps me with the social media and our email marketing, et cetera, is a woman who lives in Missouri, in rural Missouri, and her husband is wheelchair bound and she takes care of him. She does not have help. And so by working with me remotely, I enable her to also stay home and care for her husband. I'm not her only client, but I found out about her years ago from a women's networking group that you and I were both in that has
Mm-hmm.
since transitioned. But I found out about her then, and I think I've been working with her now over 8 years. And it's she's a dear, she's a wonderful, lovely person. I think she does a very good job for us. And it feels good when you talk about gratitude and when you talk about values, supporting someone who can then take care of a family member, but also do good work for us. I just think it's really special. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think values are really important to leave it to living that kind of a life.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And you've shown that over and over again, not only in that one really beautiful example, but I know that the talent that you have working for you, I've heard when they had little kids, middle now, and one's now an empty nester, and you've been
Right.
transitioning, and sometimes their schedule had to change for six
Yes.
months or a year, and you built a culture. And so Kitchen Design Partners is here for the mainstay. And even when you're ready to do something different, maybe just lead from a higher level and have other, that it can continue on. And, that's what we all want is we all want to help and give back. And you do that every day. And if this is providing a service and helping people have a beautiful aspect of their home, but so personal, and then also helping people that are fulfilling their careers in their lives and still living and having a wonderful balance. So culture, beautiful job, Mrs. Jacobson. Thank you so much. I love
Thank
you.
you, Wendy. I love
Yes.
you too. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to share this with all of you. Thank you all for being a part of our podcast today. Visit Nancy at Kitchen Design Partners and all of her links and everything. And we'll see you very soon at the next episode. And I will talk to you very soon.
Mwah.
Bye.
Bye, Wendy. Thank you. Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.